It's been on my mind for some time now that the term douchebag has really overstayed its welcome at the forefront of English slang. And I think it was probably when Jon Stewart announced on The Daily Show that conservative columnist Robert Novak, who has since passed away and now resides in the ninth circle of hell because he outed Valerie Plame Wilson as a CIA operative, but that on his show, Jon Stewart announced that Novak had won the Congressional Medal of Douchebaggery. And at that moment in time, I think the word really hit its zenith, and since then it's been on a long, slow plunge. And it's not that I don't like the word myself and use it often, but it's just gotten so overused that I think we just kind of need to retire it for a time so that it can one day again its just douchebaggery luster. So imagine my joy when today earlier I overheard a friend of mine describe someone as a dickbag. Now I know that word's been around for a while, but for some reason or other, it just hasn't taken hold in the public's imagination. It doesn't come as easily to the tongue as does douchebag, but I think that can all change if we really get out there and use the term. And after all, hasn't feminine hygiene really paid its dues here, for a time? Isn't it a time that a male part of the reproductive system take a piece of this slang action? And who, I ask you, is more deserving of being the poster boy for the dickbag campaign than Charlie Sheen? This is a guy who's had everything in his life handed to him on a golden platter, but who nevertheless consistently and constantly insists on taking a big steaming dump on that platter and throwing it into the faces of everyone who's ever tried to help him to be a decent human being. And I'm sorry that he's a drunk, and I'm sorry that he's an addict, and I'm sorry that he's stupid, but none of those things gives him the right to wage this whiny campaign of his against Chuck Lorre, his boss, the man who created and is the driving force behind 2.5 Men. Just because he's mad that CBS and Chuck Lorre don't want to work with a dickbag, because that's what Charlie Sheen is, a dickbag. He gets paid $1.2 million per episode to show up and deliver the lines that Chuck Lorre writes for him, and that's more than $26 million a season, or would have been if Sheen's dickbaggery hadn't shut the production down twice this season, and rather than apologize or try to set things right, he went on the radio and TMZ to attack Chuck Lorre as a clown and a charlatan and a Jew, despite the fact that the guy is one of the most successful writer-producers working in television today. He's got 3 hit shows on CBS, Big Bang Theory, Mike and Molly, as well as the now taken off of life support 2.5 Men. So yeah, Charlie Sheen is a dickbag, and I hope the day comes when they have a category on Jeopardy called Hollywood Dickbags, and Who Was Charlie Sheen is the answer to this hit CBS comedy was canceled due to the dickbaggery of this overpaid actor.